Welcome to Tunnel Talk, a no facts, all feelings wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Ann.
I'm Leah, and I like that you hesitated. Like, will it be wrestling tonight?
I actually forgot. And I think I was just like, welcome to a fun Chit Chat podcast. Why do we record this? None of my business. How are you guys doing today?
I had to have a dinner with my coworkers, and my boss was like, I can't wait to go home and go to bed. And I said, I have to go home and record my podcast. And she said, wrestling still? Yeah.
Girl, we're as surprised as you are.
I know, still, after all these years. I mean, this week with the 5-year anniversary of Dynamite, I suddenly realized we started watching just 10 months in or something, so we've been there for the bulk of Dynamite.
Dude, that's the most startling thing you've ever said. I read that and genuinely was like, I need to lie down. I need to face down on the floor. I watched most of this promotion. Like, to me, still, I'm just like, I started watching last month. And I do think that's an energy I give off as well. It's making me think of our friend Hannah's baby who keeps telling other kids on the playground that his name is Baby. I'm like, that's us. Like, we're like talking to other people and they're just like, wow, you guys really know, you've really been watching wrestling for a while. And we're just like, no, I'm a baby. My name is Baby.
I was just born, actually.
I don't even know what wrestle is. Well, but here we are.
Here we are. After all these years.
Still crazy.
Still
after all
wrestling.
these years.
Still doing a wrestling podcast.
What I liked so much about her tone was just sort of like, maybe I'm still doing a podcast. I just changed the topic.
Well, honestly, we have said that before.
When we were in our depths of despair.
If wrestling actually ever drove us out the door, could we just pivot? Could we have our Supernatural Bible podcast?
And every once in a while, someone will like mention like a genre of podcast, and I'm like, that sounds fun. Does that sound more fun? Should we have done that? Maybe we should have.
If we were one of those horror movie recap podcasts, we'd be having a good time.
I know,
we're having a good time anyway.
We are having a good time anyway, but they go big time though. They're making ad revenue like crazy.
That's true.
That's not a niche interest. That's a
they take off
interest.
Pretty fast.
Yeah.
Well, but we'll stay here with you, our listeners, our wrestling listeners. We're
so
still
far
here.
So good.
Well, guys, I thought we could start out today by breaking down the deal. I think we are going to want to get deep into the numbers on this deal. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been obsessively following every number.
Let's get to the financials. No, I've been mostly offline the last couple of days, and I, honest to God, almost messaged Sarah in our like group chat to just be like, I can't, like, the mood is so strange around here. Was the deal good? Yeah.
I thought it was very good. I thought
it was good.
I think it's good,
very good.
It's good, but people are being weird. There's people that like are unhappy it's good, and then there's people, I think people are having reactions to like what they personally predicted it might be, which it's not a mentally well space, the IWC.
No, I think they have a hard time being like, this is a good thing, and all I have to say about it is that it's good. Instead of like, we have to break down how many different ways it could hurt us.
Well, also sometimes in life, like, you learn something good and you just start crying because you feel unsettled. You know, I'm like, I feel like, not to brag, but I'm like, that's something I'm actually really in touch with. It's just the fact that I have a lot of feelings that don't really mean anything. They just are reactions to change in general.
Yeah.
And you just got to kind of ride them out and be like, ooh, I feel so kooky, but it's just because I had a lot of emotional investment in this thing and it happened exactly the way I said it would. And it's not that interesting, but I'm having a big response in my brain. You know?
It's true. Yeah. Sometimes you can get good news, but like the release of tension makes you feel bad. Yeah.
Totally. It's really confusing to have a mind, a beautiful mind. Speaking of that, let's get into, we're not actually going to unpack the deal. That was a joke. We won't.
Very funny joke.
Wait a minute. Then what did I do all that research on equity for?
That was a prank I pulled on you.
Should I put away my spreadsheet, Allie?
I don't
year over year.
Hey, I don't want to hear another number from you girls for the whole rest of the night. So help me God. Not that I had heard one yet. So.
We did a lot of numbers chit chat before we started recording.
Anne and I were repeating words that we've heard people say the way that like little kids walk around in their mom's high heels.
It's like when my nephew was a little bit younger, he used to like to sit at like his mom's computer and pretend he's working and say, "I have to work for the mortgage."
What did I wanted to post I didn't do it because of my commitment to my own privacy, but someone said something in one of our wrestling spaces the other day, and I wanted to post a clip of myself as a child looking up at my father out of nowhere and just saying, "You don't have any more money, Dad? Why don't you go to the bank and get some money?" It's crazy to... Children are great. Anyway, okay, well, we've simply got to talk about the wrestling.
Should we pitch we got merch available now. You should
God, yes,
go buy it. Yes, very exciting.
You can go, "You don't have any more money, Dad?
You don't have any more money? Put some little money in our pocket." Just kidding, you don't have to unless you want to.
You really don't have to, but if you like it, you should get it, you know?
Yeah. So, chopped-tees.com.
It's true. I've been really excited watching like the people that's bought so far. And I think our Chopped Tees guy was like, "You can send them like thank you notes." And I've been like, would that be so creepy if we like, reached out and was like, "I saw you bought a shirt. Thank you."
Thank you.
So I think if you said it like that, it would. Thank you.
Record little video messages where we're real weird.
Do you think that would be like a plus or a con? If you buy a merch, you get like a cameo type clip, but it's just us saying really like off-putting things.
I'll tell you this: if I knew that if I bought a T-shirt, a Chuck Taylor T-shirt, he was going to acknowledge that I had purchased it. And
I never would do
weird.
it. I'd never do it in a million
I would not
years.
own any Chuck Taylor.
No. No, I would be begging other people to buy it for me. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Exactly.
You can't see my name.
Yeah.
This would be like a thing that would like... This would be a thing that would like work like where I'd be like, "Oh my God, Isaiah Cassidy's a genius for doing this. I'm going to buy it." But like Chuck Taylor and the Bucks, I'd be like, "Can we buy it with a money order?"
I'd be acting like it was a crime. I'd be acting like the FBI can't find any record of this purchase. We've got to get it on the black market.
Yeah, I'd be motivated to get Bitcoin for the first time ever. This has to be untraceable.
Oh my God.
Do you think there are people out there
that's an idea for crypto?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but it is like, it's because we like him too much. Like, I wonder if there's listeners to our podcast that like us too much and they can't have us seeing their names.
Well, I definitely wouldn't recommend liking us too much.
No, I don't think that's a good choice at all.
And then that love will turn to hate and they'll burn down our house.
Our hater's so mad right now. He's like, "Nobody likes you at all."
Nobody likes you that much.
Leah's still writing her love letter. Leah, I want to know that you're like checking out every order that comes in and just like almost like what's it like dousing it, like just being like, "Is this our hater? Is our hater ordering this T-shirt to burn it live?"
Oh my God,
live journal,
like Asia. If you know, you know.
Let's move on. Yuta reunited with his evil uncles on Collision last week when he and Pac and Claudio defended their trios belts against Private Party and Commander. He sulkily refused to let Claudio tag him in until forced, and as Manola said, stood idly by in defiance when Claudio wanted to do cool multi-man moves with him. But then in the middle of the match, he kind of had a little bit of a break and the anger took control and he was as violent as his papas and uncles could ever wish him to be. And he cattle mutilated Isaiah Cassidy way past the end of the match. The ref's trying to break it up and Claudio and Pac are holding the ref back. They're so proud of their violent boy. But then when they go to embrace him, pushes them away and leaves the ring. He's so angry. What do you guys think?
The way that Pac was holding back the ref was the exact way he was holding back Yuta when Bryan Danielson was getting suffocated, where it was like a full body like hug. And again, I was like, Pac is really good at it. Like, I never looked at Pac before and was like, he'd be good at hugs, but I was a little bit like, if only I could be a ref that he was holding back from interfering in a murder.
Wow.
New fantasy just dropped.
Leah wants like a slimy underwater hug from Pac.
Nice and wet.
Yeah, I feel like Yuta's doing like a really good job with his little acting. I feel very proud of him. He is being believably depressed and mad, and he's doing it like physically in the ring, which is, you know, not that easy.
He's doing sullen so well, because when he was doing the shit on the apron where like he refused to let Claudio tag him in, Claudio had the funniest like aggravated look on his face where he was like, you have to pick up the toys in the room. You have to pick up the toys. And you're just like, and you literally can't make me. What are you going to do? Pick up my hand and make me pick up all the toys? No, I'm not going to do it.
I know. And it was really hitting home, too, is like the aftermath. If you've already had like one big fight with your mom and then she's like making a little gesture to be like, what if we pretended that fight didn't happen, but you're still so angry because you're like, you should have apologized that you're a bitch. And then she's like, well, fine. Then we'll all just be bitches. Then we'll all just be bitches. I thought it was really good. It was a little rude of commentary to call Yuta Wheeler half a man.
Yeah, what was that? They were like 3-on-1 or maybe 2.5-on-1 with Wheeler being the half. Like, it's not 2.5 men. He's not 10.
He was refusing to tag in, though. So maybe they're like, he's not being that cooperative. He's not really. It's so much of it is about cooperation. And he was refusing to, you know, it's like you need 2 men to do this thing. And they only had 1. Or they had 2. They needed 3.
If you're going to be sullen like a child, commentary is going to treat you like a child, you know?
Learn it now and learn it well. Okay, and then Dynamite this week opened with a PCC promo in which Pac called the rest of the roster fluffy, cute zoo creatures who were bought, by whom I don't know, to be paraded around. But that's not Yuta. And he also said that war is upon us. And then Claudio gaslit Yuta and was just like, I don't understand why you're even mad. Like, everything is just the way it's always been. I don't know why you're so upset. And then finally Mox cut a promo on Danielson. And it was a kind of a banger, actually. It was very short. But he said he prayed every night that Danielson wouldn't win the world championship. But he did. And Mox is going to have the belt one way or another. And he's going to give you the gift that is the opportunity to go out on a warrior's shield and die a warrior's death on your home soil. And you'll be buried in your own backyard, peacefully, beautifully. I'd like to start by saying one thing I don't think anyone is going to like.
I'm so ready.
There was a bit of a Trumpian cadence to that peacefully, beautifully. Immediately I was kind of at it. I was at a MAGA rally. Like that.
Wow. Yeah, it hadn't occurred to me, but now that you point out the word, just kind of
I don't think it was
big,
purposeful.
beautiful word. I don't think so either. But also buried in your own backyard. It's not appropriate. That's not legal, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Cop ban? You don't think people should be allowed to bury their enemies in their own backyards?
No, and decay. I could be their neighbor. It's not.
It could, that could get into the groundwater.
Yeah.
Okay, you're giving HOA a little bit, but
now that's a feud I want. John Moxley versus the HOA.
Boy, if he were in your HOA, you'd see some drama.
Wow. I wish that I want to imagine everybody at AEW living in a kind of a planned community and how each of them would enrage the HOA, because I know there's a lot of other criminals. Who I stand with, to be clear.
Do you guys remember the first HOA meeting that I ever went to after I bought my place, and how 2 70-year-olds cursed each other out and left the building chasing each other, and they almost called the cops on them?
Wow. That's the kind of fun you can't get anywhere else.
It was high drama.
Matt Jackson should be the head of the AEW HOA.
Oh my goodness. He is going to lay down the law. Any other thoughts on this promo?
I am just really enjoying Mox being insane. He said he called Bryan Danielson daddy, said I'm sending daddy home for good.
Oh yeah, he did.
He and Bryan Danielson are really bringing a lot of sexual energy to things that I like a lot.
Yeah, sure. I don't really want to see them kiss, but I agree that they've lit each other's fires. There's a passion there. They've woken each other up. Do you want to talk about Claudio getting so mad at us? I think specifically saying he looked bad in his white T-shirt, that he completely switched to a tank top, and it does look much better. He does a beautiful wrap in it.
What do you think it is about his chest that the tank top makes him look like he's got beautiful B cups, but the T-shirt really just completely flattens them?
Yeah, I don't know. With the T-shirt, Claudio has a good body, so I'm a little confused. And maybe it was just the comparison to Mox. Like, when it was too identical, then it just looks like second rate, whereas the tank top at least mixes it up enough. But
there was some kind of optical illusion thing happening.
It didn't have any, there was no swell. There was no soft swell there.
It didn't cling to where it needed to cling.
Maybe it was too high quality a T-shirt, and hence a heavier cotton not clinging the same way. Perhaps something like that.
Or maybe he got the tank top tailored,
I hope he did. I pray to God that he had to go to a tailor and say, I need this to make me look good rack-wise.
Yeah, gotta make the rack.
I can't be humiliated by the girls anymore.
Okay. Bryan Danielson also cut a promo on Dynamite in which this was weird. The AEW account only posted the second half of this promo, which I think is strange. In the first half, I think he said some really mad specific things about Mox. Unless I made that up and that half of the promo didn't exist.
No, that sounds right. I mean, I didn't watch this clip that you linked us, but I remember when we were watching,
we all said
we were like, he's alive, he's awake, he's talking about Mox, he's referencing specific things, it's not a cut and paste promo. Chat GPT did not write this. I'm very happy.
It's very strange that he really did his job in that department for the first time in a minute, and AEW was like, no one's gonna want to see that. No one's gonna want to see that. Cut it. But maybe they just didn't want to confuse people because they put the half where he talked about fighting Okada there. And then, is anything else I described here even important to get into? He did fight Okada in the main event. It ran half an hour over. That's too long.
It's too long. That's a whole nother show. It's a whole nother show.
It's not fair. I know you want Bryan Danielson to have his really great goodbye time, his goodbye tour, but at whose expense? Mine.
We did literally say that if Tony was going to add a third hour, this was how he had to do it, where he just kept stretching it a little bit more every week. So it's with 3 weeks of a 30-minute overrun, we're going to be like, this is no problem. We can do this. And then he's like, what if we did a 45-minute overrun? And we're like, fuck.
The dog started staring at me at 10:08, so I missed a good chunk of the end of this match and had to watch it today.
I don't think it mattered that much because it wasn't it sounds mean. I really don't mean it meanly. It wasn't a very interesting match, was it? It was kind of normal.
I think it was fully fine for a TV match. I think I would have been more into it if I wasn't so tired and so annoyed that it was 10:20 and stuff.
I wouldn't have done a half-hour overrun for it if I ran the zoo, but
no. I'm also having a problem where I love Okada when he talks and when he does his little fun goofs, and I love looking at him. He's just a fun, silly, beautiful man.
Yeah.
I can't say that any of his wrestling has really gotten me, and I feel bad saying that because unfortunately he hasn't really been getting me in the ring, and then Bryan Danielson's kind of working on a handicap with me right now where it's
I know.
I'm really annoyed at you. So the two of them together, I was like, I gotta go to bed. I have to go to bed. I can't watch this.
And some of the discussion that IWC today was that Bryan Danielson may be washed, like that he might be more injured than he's letting on. So the matches like aren't as
that
good.
Was
which
very good use of a very
plausible.
mean term.
I really hate it when people say it. It's like, that's a human being who just destroyed their body for you.
I know. It's kind of like, I hope no one ever calls me washed. That'll bum me out. That'll make me so sad. Yes, it has been suggested that he is quite injured. I just don't like fully understand. As I keep saying, it's happening, so it's happening. We're here. Like, we've just got to work with what's happened. But I don't really understand what's going on. Like, it's like, is he never going to wrestle again? Everyone keeps being like, well, he's going to wrestle again. He should just get surgery and wrestle again. It's kind of like, is he? He's not really given those vibes.
Yeah,
like,
people are saying that, and it's like, of course, I don't believe that he intends to retire, but I do feel like, I mean, he might have to, though. Like, I don't know what the situation is with his little body, so I don't think we can ever count on anyone coming back after surgery, necessarily.
No.
Okay,
So
don't
true.
say that. Don't say that.
I know. Well, I'm in a stage of grief called...
Men who get surgery definitely return to us. I think that we are all saying that. The men who get surgery eventually one day.
And I think we're saying, like, men love to get surgery.
Men love
They love
to get
scheduling their surgeries, getting their surgeries, and they love... And when their surgeries are successful, which they always are, the surgeries always work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all saying.
I think we're all saying that.
Can't wait for Chuck Taylor to come back from surgery.
Oh God.
Okay, you unfortunately you used the same tone as when you told us that you dropped the bat you found in your house off at a farm so he could play.
Yeah. And we didn't. Well,
and he's loving it on the farm. I get updates from the farm
you
every
only,
6 months or so.
You only said that under, like, we've made you say that. And you said it in a tone like when a mom isn't even really trying to protect her baby. She's like, you're being a child. You need to acknowledge the truth, which is that the bat is dead. But fine. Oh, you want me to say a lie to you about how it's on a farm? Okay, baby. Now, what else is happening here? Oh, so Danielson wins this main event. And then Mox and everyone come out to attack Danielson. And then Mox said, you think this is about me? Is that what you said? Let's get something through your simple-minded brain. None of this is about me.
He said, like, blueberry picking brain, something like that.
Oh, they must have censored that in the AW recap. If any of this was this, I'm planning for something much bigger than myself. If any of this was about me, I'd have put you out of your misery years ago. You would have killed him years ago? He wanted to kill him years ago.
When you adopted children together?
I don't know about the implication of that. He wanted to kill him years ago, but because this has all been about something bigger than him, he's like a sleeper agent. Therefore, he did it because the boss didn't sign off on it.
Do you guys have theories about who the boss is, or whether there really is a boss guy, or whether it's just a weird metaphor?
I don't know. I am leaning towards the fact that Mox, it's just a metaphor, because I feel like the IWC is getting themselves all worked up the way they did when they were like, a new tag team is definitely debuting, and I'm not falling for it again, but I could be very wrong.
Well, I was confused about, I wish I knew more about how they plan commentary stuff. This is insider info that I would love to be privy to, because, I mean, just the generalities, not this specific situation. Because Excalibur said, who is forcing Jon Moxley's hand in all of this? Which does imply then, like, okay, so everybody, I guess, thinks that he's referring to another person. But I'm not clear on whether Excalibur would even know. Like, I don't know if that's something he got told to accentuate, or if he's just like, well, could be something, guess I'll run with it.
You know what the funniest option would be, though, is if William Regal came back.
That would be a really fun little discourse cycle. That would really keep us busy.
So mad.
I would... You know, that would be the kind of mad that I would enjoy.
I would super enjoy it, yeah.
Everyone thinks it's Shane McMahon, but then it's William Regal, the
William
Redux.
Well, it does just feel like something where it's like everyone would be mad, but like some people would end up being happy, but everyone would start mad, you know? Okay, so then there's all fighting and screaming and all that kind of stuff. And then Yuta came out and saved Bryan Danielson. And he cut a promo where he was like, I'm sick of being called a fucking baby. I'm a big boy. I can make decisions for myself. And then the decision he made was to team up with Bryan Danielson so they can fight Claudio and Pac on Title Tuesday. And let me just check here now. Is that happening on Tuesday?
Yeah.
And that's when we're having Dynamite on Tuesday, not Wednesday.
It's a big fun sports preemption, which I don't even know what sports TBS has.
Baseball.
I thought that's why.
Oh, the American sport.
I was
The
like,
American
off-season
game.
tennis? What are we?
Yeah. Please. Do you think it's troubling that I saw people online all day saying the phrase Title Tuesday, but only at around 6 p.m. did I say, wait a second, on Tuesday? You think I should be worried about that?
No, I like it. I think it shows that you've got a strength of mind that is uninfluenced by gimmicky names the booker gives to try to get you to watch things when they're not supposed to be on.
That's so true. It's my mind is protecting itself. It's just like, I don't care. A show is a show.
Yeah. Wednesdays when I watch wrestling, I'll turn it on regardless.
Oh God. Any thoughts that you wanna get out there about Mox or Danielson or little baby Yuta?
I think that there's literally no chance that you can say, I'm not a boy, I'm a man, and have it come out like cool. Like, it's not even a judgment on Yuta. It's just like, there's no one on earth that can sell that line.
It's really on par with Sting's not my dad, he's my best friend.
That's really another classic AEW line. Wow. Sometimes I think we should make like a list of our top 10 of those type moments, and just enjoy them.
Just enjoy them. Yeah, you're right. We should remember things we liked and enjoy them more often. We're not doing it enough. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah.
Why not? Speaking of Sting's not my dad, he's my best friend. Darby cut a promo on Dynamite this week, and I think it was his best ever promo.
Yeah.
I thought it when he was doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I went back and listened to it and transcribed it today and was like, this is extremely good. It's just an extremely good, normal, really good promo, in my opinion.
It's actually crazy when you look at it because it's like, not to always be running a writing workshop on this podcast, but it's like the number one rule of writing is like if something is specific and it's like concrete, it's so much better than anything that's vague or not. So I feel like most wrestlers would come out there and be like, my whole life I've been outnumbered, but I come out fighting anyway. But instead, Darby said, when I was 19, I used to ride the Metro bus, the 150 from Kent State and Seattle. It's like, yes, tell me an anecdote. Paint me a little picture. It's so much more vivid.
We were saying last week, I think very recently, it's like, it's so effective. It's so simple. It's like, sometimes it's like, is this overdone? It's like, no, it is just very effective to be like, okay, I have a ton of big feelings that I'm trying to explain. It'll be what I should do is just tell a story that illustrates those feelings. And then people will be able to be like, oh, if he was like that in that situation, this is what it says about him on the whole. That's so much more interesting and engaging than just hearing you, the wrestler, doing the analysis for me. Like, I want to do the analysis and come to a conclusion about your character. And this did that. It was extremely specific. It felt like you're like, oh, I'm in a place. Like, I'm on a bus. That's great. I'm picturing a bus. This sounds so dumb to say, but it's like, that is really effective. Now I am paying more attention to your promo than I'm paying to other promos that start with just like, all my life I've been oppressed.
Yeah. And if someone tells you like, oh, but I'm tough when the odds are against me, I don't care. You're just like, I mean, I don't know if I believe it or not. But when someone tells you like a specific story with what they specifically did, it just makes an argument way stronger.
Well, and this was such a good story for Darby because it's like, when the odds are tough, you are stupid. And like, not right. Stupid, where he like
the guy holds up a knife and I think, well, I'm getting stabbed tonight, I guess. Like,
that's truly so illustrative. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, that is you. That you're just like, I'd rather get stabbed than do nothing. Like, that's a specific type of person, and it is who you are. And this was a very good way for you to explain that.
Yeah.
I really felt so pleased.
Yeah, and it was really, like, nicely filmed, too. Like, he was outside, he was sitting on a car, you could hear crickets. It just, like, had a real, like, feel to it, which was good.
I thought it was a really good, like, naturalistic delivery. And then the end was, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but, like, when he ends, he goes, so he put out this open challenge. He's like, anyone can challenge me for Wrestle Dream. He said, and he's, like, shouting. He goes, anybody wants to build their name off of Darby Allin, step right up, because I've got nothing left to lose. And then he was, like, just like panting because he'd been screaming and threw something maybe. And then he really did just look like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? And he just went, step up. Like, it was like, wow, you're not doing very well. You're having a really bad week.
Yeah. And for him, too, to come out of this situation where, like, he was supposed to fight Bryan Danielson, but he let himself get baited into fighting Mox instead. He screwed himself over. And then for him to be looking back on his life and being like, yeah, I'm always kind of throwing myself in a situation because I'd rather do something than nothing, even if it's the dumbest thing on earth. And then just like, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. You know, it's good.
I know some will probably disagree and still just be like, it was really stupid for him to give that shot away. But like, or be like, it was a plot hole. But it really does fit his character, especially because he decided to lean into it as something that his character would do. Like, now I'm like, oh, it's really smart that he gave his shot away, because this is the best promo that I've ever heard out of Darby, and the one that like actually gave me the most, except for those ones he did with Ethan Page, which were really good. But but that gave me the most insight into like, oh, like your character is like, has real defining traits.
Yeah. And you can't help yourself. Like, it's it's not a plot hole for a stupid, reckless character to do something stupid and reckless.
Right. Right. That is the thing that I think sometimes it's hard for people to learn, which is that like people fuck up, and that that includes fictional characters. Like fictional characters sometimes need to make the wrong choice, not for like big moral reasons, just for stupid, petty reasons sometimes. Like sometimes you really fuck up and you just have to like you, the character, have to live with it. And that's what I think Darby was saying in that promo.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get stabbed.
Sometimes you get stabbed. I think it's giving that. I always talk about this, that like David Mamet memo to the writers of the Room or some, whatever his dumb action show was, but where like he was like, in every scene you need to be asking like who wants what, like how do they try to get it, and like what goes wrong, or it's like some series like that. And this is an instance where I'm like, yeah, it's right that things went wrong. Like, you know, it's good. Things do have to go wrong. They have to go wrong. So, okay, well, that's a little praise fest for Darby this week. Really quick, who do you think he's going to fight?
I really don't know.
What men are left?
Yeah.
Someone suggested that, like, it could be, like, Swerve could come back and fight him.
Ooh, that would be sexy.
Yeah, of course I would fucking love to see. I love when they fight each other. And
they've got sexy little history, too.
They've got history. So I would love it if that happened. I don't know if that is likely, but surely we have to get some more of our Seattle boys wrestling.
Yeah.
I guess not more of, it's just Swerve. I'm like, but he must wrestle, surely.
Surely they wouldn't have Wrestle Dream without Swerve. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy, especially in his hometown. But like, it is good for me for Darby and Swerve to be encountering each other at a time when they're both not feeling like low, but like feeling like, I don't know, like they just fucked themselves over, you know what I mean? Like,
they're both at a little low point, a little experienced setbacks.
Right. And they both, like, you know, are coming off of messes of their own making to a certain extent.
Right.
Yes, that's a very
That's good.
interesting like character moment for both of them, and it would be fun to see them interact.
Yeah, and I almost don't want to waste it on Wrestle Dream. I'm like, we could start it
I
on Wrestle
know.
Dream, but like, can you give us like a couple weeks of
My God, I
promos?
know.
I know it's too short.
I sometimes feel like it's like the only ongoing storyline we have anymore is the Conglomeration. It's like everything else, I'm just like, Tony, no. I'm like, don't leave it behind. Oh God, it's gone. Okay.
And the Conglomeration are just like locked in eternal battle where nothing ever changes. I feel like, is there some myth like that? It's like, I don't remember. It's like the earth balanced on two giants wrestling.
Something like that. Yeah, like stars or
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on, I think. Okay, Hangman and Jeff Jarrett had their lumberjack match on Collision with the Dark Order, Bang Bang Gang, and Jeff Jarrett's crew ringside. This was an interesting recap. I really recommend checking out the recap on a match like this. It is, people are going wild with the straps, getting a lick in on Hangman, contemplating strapping each other. Like, it's, if you're not in that world, it's really something.
It really is. Like, sometimes you're just watching wrestling and suddenly your mind leaves your body kind of, and you're like, wow, it's 8:45 p.m. on basic cable and I'm watching a man in wearing panties whip another man with a strap. Like,
Watching an absolute strap fest.
And I also had a moment where I was like, the thing is that like we're sort of like we were like losing it, but like also we were sort of taking it in stride. Can you imagine like us of 2020 observing this? We would have been like, I think we should have to like show ID before we could watch this.
To be honest, I wish it never could have happened, but I wish that we had started our podcast day one and that we had
A record.
a full record. I mean, we have a bit of a written record, but it couldn't possibly capture some of the feelings we must have experienced in those early days.
yeah, wow.
Well,
It's also funny to think about us start like watching wrestling for the first time one week and being like, well, let's get into a podcast, ladies.
what if that became like our thing? Like anytime we have a new interest, we're just like, well, just in case this ends up being a 5-year interest, start our podcast.
Girls, let's hop on GarageBand.
It would really just be like having a friend catch up every week, but you record it. And it's like just for posterity, just in case we
Just
need
to
this
play
later.
it back.
You know,
and then you'd be like, wow, when did we start that? And then you just flip back through your archives. And
wouldn't that be good? Did we have enough lumberjacks around the match? Enough strappers?
We did not. No, it looked kind of silly.
Little dearth of lumberjacks.
No, and I don't know. Like it did crack me up where I was like some of those people were heels, right? Some of the lumberjacks, and then some of them were faces. But
I don't know who is a face or who's a heel. I mean, Hangman's
Lost
a heel.
track of everyone.
Jeff Jarrett, I guess, is a face now. So is the whole crew faces? Maybe.
But like some of the lumberjacks, like the
Dark Order.
are faces, right?
It was all people
and
who
Bang
hate
Bang Gang are basically
Hangman,
faces right
though.
now. They're all faces.
I mean, I think Jeff Jarrett just like kind of recruited people who would want to hit Hangman with straps.
I have to say, I don't think that we should be having lumberjack matches where there aren't at least 5 men who just got like rounded up because they were around.
Yeah.
You gotta have at least 5 men on a side, because when you have like one man on a side, that man can't catch you if you come out of the ring. That's just ludicrous.
I also think that lumberjacks should be wearing like checkered shirts.
I know.
I agree.
A lumberjack match is an excuse for Chuck Taylor to wear a sleeveless checked flannel shirt and show off.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that man.
He's never coming back, so that's good.
When he gets his surgery, the surgery man returns.
You meant when the surgery man deals with it. When he gets in that room at the hospital and the surgery man deals with it.
Come flooding back into your brain.
What was I going to say? Oh, who was wearing a beautiful plaid shirt? It was Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
And what was he wearing with it?
White diaper. It's beautiful.
Diaper and suspenders. Suspendered diaper. That's innovation.
Then Colton Gunn was wearing a ladies' denim jumpsuit from Target, which I really enjoyed as well. Kudos.
That ruled. The Guns do know how to style themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. They've really... They really do an excellent job at their little niche on the program.
That was so slightly condescending. They're really good at their own special little thing, aren't they? We all really appreciate their work for what it is. Okay, and then oh god, I really got lost in this when I was trying to recreate it. I don't know why, but at the end of Hangman won the lumberjack match. I think maybe by doing something bad or evil, could be, and then he attacked Juice afterwards, screaming, "Don't you ever get in my business!" because of something Juice did in the match. I don't remember it. And then on Dynamite, and the Guns saved Juice. And then on Dynamite, he attacked the Guns backstage. And then he had a match with Juice, and he fought Juice. And they also strapped each other. I guess they still had the straps. So it's like if you got them.
True life, addicted to strapping, you know? You get a taste. You can't let go.
You want more. And they strapped each other all over, and they were in the crowd strapping each other and all kinds of stuff. And Hangman wins that. And then he hangs Juice with his belt because hanging is back. And commentary was like, "Oh, no, who will come save Juice? Poor Juice." And Jay White re-debuted, and he ran out, and he saved his wife, Juice Robinson. And then he and Hangman are fighting. They're in the crowd. They're going through. Hangman goes through a table. He set it up earlier, and now he goes through it. Well, what did you think?
It was good. I mean, I was really into it.
I had fun.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know, Jay White really, my heart is still open, but he's not really for me so far. So, we'll see how this goes, I think.
I don't know. I like him. I think he hasn't been really, given, there's just been a lot of stuff going on that kept meaning that, I think his shit kept getting shuffled to the back. But,
yeah,
every time he was given something to do, I could see I was like, oh, I could like this man, but he just kept the C2, I was really into the unhinged shit he was doing in promos, but then he kind of disappeared after that. So
I was going to mention that too, that I actually do think all the time about his frothing at the mouth C2 promos, and I think he was frothing at the mouth in the ring too. I was quite captivated. I was extremely interested. I said, I want to watch this man lose his mind. I want the madness of Jay White. And then we didn't really get much follow-up on that. He did cut a promo after the show on Hangman, which I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that.
I did. Yeah.
And I don't know that I fully followed the logic, but he basically was like, I've got to get that belt. Hangman, you're being so crazy. Hangman doesn't have the belt, but he's like, you're standing in the way of me getting my belt, and I have to get a belt, and you need to calm down. So I'll just deal with this. I'm going to deal with this.
Yeah, it was...
I'm at my pleasure.
Yeah, I think this is just a thing, again, it's for whatever reason, Jay White is just not to my taste, because even that C2 stuff you guys were talking about, it's I didn't really do much for me. So this promo, I think it was good, it was energetic, he delivered it. I think is just, I don't know, he has a face that doesn't work for me, brother.
Okay, well, I don't think that I think that might be a problem that you have with Kiwis, and you might need to
Oh, you think I'm being racist against Kiwis?
Just a possibility I'm raising. Just a possibility. We're all just saying things that could be true. I'll be interested to see what happens. I'm excited to see them fight. I think that's a fun match, which presumably is going to happen at Wrestle Dream. And I know they have fought multiple times before, so I can't wait. All right. Let's move on to the Elite. Okay, this week on both Dynamite and Collision, we got a little art film footage of JB driving his beautiful scapegoat his scapegoat bus all around this great country of ours. I think we all said that now when we see the scapegoat bus, we just think I hope we get to see him buy another bus. I can't wait to see him at the car dealership.
I want to see him filling out some order forms.
And then, so on Collision, JB fought Minoru Suzuki and won. And then he tried to keep beating on him, but Shibata ran out to save Suzuki. So then on Dynamite, he arrived at the arena and he was immediately confronted by Shibata, who wanted to, challenged him for Wrestle Dream. And JB was like, well, think about it, and started walking away and then attacked him. Weirdly, silently. Like, did the sound cut out? Is that what we believe to have happened? Or were they just wrestling so softly?
I honestly don't really remember, so...
Well, I think something weird happened because I in the moment was just like, wow, there's no noise. There must, I don't know. So then later on in the show, Private Party fought the Iron Savages and won in they squashed them. Is that right?
Yeah, I was settling in oh, okay, I can kind of zone out a little bit, and then I was like, oh, it's over. Okay. It's been going on for 10 minutes.
I'm so sorry. I genuinely forgot my co-host could see me. My cat Cher just jumped up on the desk, and as she jumped up, there was a poop nugget stuck to her butt. And I was dealing with it, and I just genuinely forgot that you guys could see me.
You were making some exquisite faces.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. So Private Party then hopped on the mic and they cut this promo being like, Mox was right, basically. We really haven't advanced in the card, unfortunately, in all this time. But we want to be new men and we want to fight the Young Bucks. We beat you once and we can do it again. Matt, Nick, let's do this right here, right now. And the Young Bucks music hit. And I thought this was a really delightful Young Bucks entrance.
Yep.
Did they come up on I guess I still call it the Cody Vader. The Cody Vader came up with them sitting on it. And they were sitting and they looked like such little rats.
Yeah, the way that they were just insolently posed was so good. It was just the bored boy kings sort of vibe.
It's honestly so funny for Private Party to be calling them out. It's wow, once every 5 years the Young Bucks put over Private Party and then they go back into the
circle of life. So they were kind of teasing Private Party and being like, oh, maybe we'll fight you right here. Would that be fun? Would it be fun if we fought you right here and wherever they are? And then they were like, no, we won't fight you because this dumb crowd doesn't deserve it. And then they attacked them, and JB was there, and he attacked them. So it's 3-on-2. And then Shibata came out also to attack and, to defend. Whatever. And then Christopher Daniels came out and was like, I've had enough. I was trying to have a peaceful lunch, and you guys started a food fight. You can all fight each other on Rampage. Go backstage now. I don't want to see you again for the rest of the hour. And that's what you missed on Glee. What do you guys want to talk about?
I really, really enjoyed how theatrically Matt was like, actually, I don't think we're going to fight you tonight. He was having fun.
It was Ham City, but actually that reminded me that I did want to give Juice Robinson the Mommy's Little Ham Award this week.
Wow, good for him. Is this his first
Do you think?
award?
I mean, he was doing
earned
beautiful
it?
ham
I think
work,
he did with his physical
the suspenders.
comedies.
Yeah.
He was so, and in his match too, he just does these insane, it's physical hamminess. He becomes the ham. So I think he did earn it this week. But of course it's always, at the end of the day, it's Matt's award. Continue. He was funny.
He was funny. I think that was all I was gonna say. It was just...
I kind of said it, Alex. It's funny.
Yeah, it'd be nice to build Private Party up a little bit more. It just feels like the tag division has been like so nothing that it's like if we could like give anybody like a little bit of time and try to get this division in better shape, that'd be good. I mean, Private Party, like it is what it is, but
they're fun wrestlers.
They are fun.
They're like interesting. I don't know what it is that catapults someone into like seeming serious versus like just fun.
Yeah.
But the truth is that they are fun. So like when I thought that whole segment was heading towards the Bucks versus Private Party at Wrestle Dream, and I think there are other times in like the history that I'd be like, that is like, why are we doing that to the Bucks? But I'm so beaten down by FTR that I'm like, I can have fun with that. That would be fine to be.
And Wrestle Dream is a real, second tier pay-per-view, so it's like, yeah, that's fine. Fight Private Party. I don't have an issue.
I would feel differently if we hadn't had so many big shows in a row, but I continue to beat my drum of I've now had to care about the booking for so many big events in a row that I'm like, yeah, I can't do it anymore. I'm on strike. I won't be caring again until Full Gear. We're even here for that. That's actually a separate issue. The podcast isn't in danger, but we might
sound like it's like we might get so mad we just quit. We've been in a pretty good mood with wrestling lately, but
yeah, if Bryan Danielson drives us away,
he's got a lot to answer for, that guy.
No, we just might be having some vacation. Okay. I mean, we will be, but we're not announcing it, so I don't know why I'm still talking about it.
I will say, I do wish they'd give Jack Perry something like a little more substantial to do. Like Shibata is like a step in the right direction, but I feel like he hasn't had much. Like there's just been a lot of like him driving around. So
I think it's because like there was all that talk like that it was supposed to be Danny Garcia, and they kept trying to hold it because they wanted to like see if he would win. Which if he would sign and if he would win. It's about the rankings. He's got to move his way up the card. No, so like it makes sense to me that they were like, well, we can't have him commit to anything until we give up on Daniel Garcia. But and I think like given that he had to tread water by himself and be interesting without any direction, I think he did as well as you can. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, of course my life would be better if Daniel Garcia had signed 2 weeks ago and I was watching the two of them do promos on each other.
It's so dispiriting to think about the number of like clear on ramps. Like if you just look back at, the way they've advertised stuff where you're like, oh yeah, they definitely wanted that to be Daniel Garcia, but then it wasn't. And it is a bit of a bummer, but I do think that given that circumstance, it was pretty smart for JB to pivot to his scapegoat art films, because that at least is certainly entertains me and keeps my mind occupied. I like seeing that van on the move, on the go.
There was a point when we were watching one of those ones where I was like, are we watching a car commercial right now? Like, I completely spaced out and like thought that someone was going to be like, Car and Driver magazine rated scapegoat bus.
It's like
12 stars.
That is not nothing as an idea. That is not nothing.
It's like when Scorpio Sky was doing his little Sky Rizzy commercials. Yeah. It's like when SNL does a little fake commercial. I feel like we could be playing more in the space like that.
Yeah, we just give it a try. It's, who knows how it'll play tonally, but the most important thing is that we have fun. The three women on this podcast have fun. So.
I think that should be
if
the
we
goal
started
of
doing
AEW.
Fake commercials, the men would be so mad about it, but we would be so happy. So that's all that matters.
Do you think WWE has ever done a fake commercial?
Oh,
we'd find out pretty quick.
We'll hear about it. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Someone right now is typing up like a message to us that is like, in 1994, Steve Austin did a fake McDonald's commercial.
People love to educate us. They love to try to squish facts into these little brains, and
the joke's on you. This thing don't hold nothing. I love the moment in which I learn a fact, though. I love to learn it.
Oh yeah, that moment's
wow,
great.
I'm gonna learn this again, and it'll be just like the first time.
I'm still dealing with learning about working snug.
Oh, that one.
Oh God, that.
I'll never learn that one again for the first time. That one.
No, we'll always know. We'll always know about working snug. Wow, I wonder if Jericho's going to work snug in his match versus Mark Briscoe.
Wow.
Should we just start asking that after every time we discuss the match? Say, I wonder if they'll be working snug.
Did they have a little conversation ahead of time, consensually, about the working snug?
What is the opposite? Like, if you don't work snug and you don't work stiff, what do you work? Like, loose?
Do you work soft?
Soft? Oh, God. Do you work soft? Imagine someone saying that about you at your place of work. And it's just like, oh, yeah, she works soft. That sounds so perverse in, like, a totally different way. Where it's like, I'm just imagining, like, a touch I wouldn't want to feel. Like, so tentative. You wouldn't want someone to work tentatively and soft in the ring? You'd want it to be snug or stiff.
So true. So true.
This has been a little linguistic segment. All right. You want to briefly check in on, I didn't even describe it, but there was an MxM Collection segment with the Acclaimed on Collision this week that didn't go over super well. And we did watch Collision. I brag about it every week.
I know. I was like, bring earlier, like you mentioned a Collision match, and I was like, should I bring up that we did watch it? We watched all of Collision. Because we did it.
Listen, if we watched Collision, you guys will hear about it explicitly on the podcast. Like, someone will say, like, and by the way, we watched Collision.
Are you guys getting stoked for Shockwave?
God.
I liked the suggestion on one of our wrestling spaces. Someone said that we could just keep an eye out for, like, Shockwave updates, and if it's
because it might be on Thursdays.
It might be on Thursdays when we record, and so I could just interrupt and be like, "Shockwave update." You'll never guess who did the softest work of their life.
Somebody was working soft on Shockwave.
Oh, so soft and plush.
All I have to say is that Shockwave better be where people I don't care about go. Like, if people I love are on Shockwave when I'm busy doing this, that's gonna make me mad.
Because we can't move the pod. That's an unbreakable commitment.
I've thought about it, and I'm like thinking about like all our different options. It's like no, like we can't.
It's terrible.
Tony needs to move Shockwave.
I know. Maybe it'll be on Tuesday. But, like, if Shockwave's on Fox, as is currently rumored, like, it's not going to be a C show, you know, on network.
The situation we're in is literally exactly that we're a toddler. Tony's our father. He's like, we're having a new baby, Shockwave. And we're like, you can't have a new baby. Where are you going to keep it? And he's like, in your room. You're sharing a room with the baby.
Can we put it back in mommy's belly?
we don't want that baby. We don't want a crib in our room.
I feel like Tony is constantly saying like, hey girls, I've thought of more ways for you to watch wrestling. And we're like, stop.
We're like, as a wrestling fan, I don't want to see any more of it.
I don't want another baby wrestling show.
Is this how all sports are? Like, do they want the sport to be your life? But other sports have seasons. Like, it's like if you're
and you kind of follow like a team, like one team, you know?
Yeah. Well, we follow one promotion, but it is for 52 weeks of the year. Yeah. I mean, it's a not insignificant commitment, and we have a lot of other stuff we have to watch and do.
We do. Yeah.
To keep our minds sharp.
As sharp as they get.
Listen, Ryan Murphy is out there putting on.
Oh my God.
We have to keep our finger on that pulse.
Oh my God. You know what? We can't be talking about what Ryan Murphy's up to on the show, but we'll have to get into some stuff later. I'll say that. All right. What did you guys think of the contentious segment? And of which, I don't remember who it was. One of our friends listened to their episode of what is the name of the show?
Unrestricted.
AEW Unrestricted, and either Mason or Mansoor was talking about the segment. Actually, I don't know if that's where it was. It was on Twitch, actually. It was Twitch. One of them said of this segment, the Tumblr response, magnanimous, which that was one of the more delightful things I've read in recent memory.
Yeah. They're a delightful pair. I really love them. I think the segment, like, a lot of it was fun. It definitely was too long. And once
much too long.
Billy Gunn and the Acclaim came out, I felt much less enthused about it. But I love a little weird fashion show with, like, jokes about country names, you know?
Yeah,
so.
and the Acclaimed has done stupid segments before and nobody flipped fuck out. I think it's because these guys were so recently WWE that people were on alert. But it was, like, fine. It was, like, fun. I enjoyed it. I like them. I like seeing them.
Yeah. I feel like some of the reaction, I don't know. It's like because they're very flamboyant and campy, I feel like some men have a bit of a reaction to that, perhaps.
I think I didn't love the segment, like, in part because it was quite long. And then also I was like, I wish some of this were a little more, like, tied to something that I understand. Because there was a big chunk of it during the fashion show where I was like, I really don't know what's happening. I will say that. I really don't understand much of what's happening here. But I thought that it was quite overblown to be like, it's the worst segment that's ever happened.
Yeah,
it's like, I still like the men. I didn't want to see Billy Gunn come out from under a sheet. And I think it should have been much shorter, but, you know, it's like, you got to take some big swings. We always say that.
There are people who didn't like it that criticized it in normal ways that I was fine with.
Yeah.
Like our friend Mark was, like, talking about it, and, like, how the reason he didn't like it was fine. Like, there are reasons. It's just like, I just have, like, such a strong reaction to, like, people who are like, get this WWE shit out of here. And I'm like, you don't sound fun. Have you considered sounding fun?
It's also like, it's only Collision. Like, let them mess around on there.
So
Nothing
true.
fun ever happens.
If you're gonna experiment, we'd rather you do it on Collision.
Yeah, where we can keep an eye on you.
It did make me sad because I know that MxM would be having the time of their fucking life if they were allowed, like, freedom on Dark, like, on
God,
YouTube.
That'd be great.
I know that they would be cooking shit that, like, is wild if they just had a little freedom.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still very excited for them, and I'm happy to see what they continue to cook up. I will say, I don't know that I think the Acclaimed were a great, like, feud choice. Like, they don't have the teams don't have the same energy, but they are both. It's kind of like, what are they playing off of in each other? I don't really know. Like,
neither of them can be the straight man, so
which you can have. It's like fine to have multiple goof, but it's like they're similar enough in terms of, like, the types of jokes and humor that they're doing that it's kind of like, okay, well, we might want a little tension here. I really don't think that Billy Gunn needed to be involved with his bare body.
No. And his spray tan situation was such that before we saw his face, I did not think it was a white person, which was just like, Billy Gunn, what are you doing under there? I don't like it.
A lot of tan stuff going on this week. There was some, I didn't really notice. I don't really notice their tans anymore, actually. That's just
Nick Jackson was a very weird color this week.
Something went deeply awry there, but, you know.
I'd love some insight into, you know, just like, you know, did you not have the stuff you usually use? Did you have to get an off-brand? Are you guys not helping each other? Did you use tanning mitts, but they didn't work? Just I'd love the details on that.
If AEW could create a little Twitter that was like tanning mishap and just like let us know what happened every week.
Tanning mishap live on Shockwave. Okay. New Man MVP was back on Dynamite this week. He had a big announcement to make, but he got interrupted by Prince Nana, who accused him of talking real spicy about me and Swerve. That is not necessarily the way that I would have described it, because I was immediately like, oh my God, what did he say? What salacious thing did he say? And I was like, oh, I guess just that you didn't help him. Like, that's not spicy. That's
not the way we use that. Because immediately I'm like, oh, was someone saying that Prince Nana and Swerve were kissing?
Like, 4 chili peppers, 5 chili peppers, closed door romance? Like, what's going on there? So then Prince Nana was being like, well, I'm a wrestler too. And like, I'll lace up my boots and I'll fight you. But then MVP said, take it to the complaints department. And the complaints department was another new man, Shelton Benjamin. And so we met Shelton Benjamin briefly, and then MVP also gave Mercedes Moné his card during a different segment. Shelton is the man that we believe to be part of a tag team with another man named Bobby Lashley, which is a normal name for a man. No problems. That is okay for a man to be named Bobby Lashley. I've never questioned that. How did you guys feel about meeting him unaccompanied? Like he's on his own, just like a single man.
I didn't like it because I didn't love hearing that the Hurt Business has aged last week, but in general,
we took psychic damage.
I have been tolerant because I'm like, well, we have Private Party right now. Like we need tag teams. We need serious tag teams. The idea that these men might be like introduced separately because there might be singles guys, that will burn my tolerance. I can't be having late 40s singles guys being dropped in my plate.
We have those at home. Singles guys at home.
Mm-hmm. We have old men. Like we have old singles men.
Yeah.
We have a full-on like Instagram celebrity pantry full of men, and they are all categorized very neatly, and you can go in there and you can shop your closet.
And half our old tag teams have broken up to go become singles guys. Like we can't be doing more of no.
Can't be having it.
They have to be a tag team, or else what are we gonna do? So
I don't want it. Like my tolerance will not be present.
But the other thing is that, so even if they are a tag team, I think it's disturbing for one member of a tag team to be introduced on television without his mate. Yes. I don't understand that. Like, I feel like so scandalized. It's like the Mike Pence mother situation. I'm like, that's not okay. Okay.
Yeah, whatever happened to the Billy Graham rule? You shouldn't be alone without your partner there.
Anything could happen. No sane tag team member would allow this to occur.
And people were after this episode being like, oh, and now Bobby Lashley has also signed. It's like, wait, did he sign after? I mean, surely not, but it's perverse if so.
The whole thing...
Whatever happened to commitment? Whatever happened to the institution of marriage?
I don't know. We've many times have we said that it is fading. It is fading into the West.
So true. I was like thinking also like about like the way that some people are just so good at debuting and being like, this is who I am. I don't need that much like time or space or like, you know, it's not going to be hard for me to convey that to you, you know, like MxM pretty quickly. We were like, oh, I understand what you're about and I'm on board. Or, you know, like there's been people that have been like, this is who I am. And we were like, not interested. You know what I mean? Like you can convey it. There's debuts like this. Like, I'm sorry. What did Shelton Benjamin like convey to us about who he is? Like, Samoa Joe got off the bad foot with us because he never tried, and so I like got nervous where I'm like, is this man not gonna try? Is he not even gonna like? Is like at least MVP is like working, like
he's doing something.
Yeah, he's doing something here. I'm like, if this man shows up and just like does a Samoa Joe, like you'll applaud because you all know who I am and know what I've done, and I don't have to try to convince you. I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, it was a very bland introduction. So maybe he'll light up when his tag partner gets here. But
I would love to watch him come to life when his tag partner shows up. It was very brief, so he has some, you know, I'll give him time.
I won't give him that because
okay,
debuting him.
Okay, yes,
crossfire.
debuting him as the complaint department is so funny. Like like why didn't he do anything with the complaint department? That's funny.
the funniest thing that's ever happened. I wish you guys could have seen. Startled.
Usually when one of us does a magnanimous, well, my heart's open, I'll give more time, the another one doesn't go, no!
You close that heart.
You close it right now, Alexandra.
I'm closing it up. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. That's very fair, Leah. He should have played in the space more, for sure. For sure he should have. Men should not just be tough guys who are riding on their past at WWE, expecting us expecting that to make it work for us. You're right. You're so right.
Thank you. I've been placated.
Oh my god, my heart is racing. Let's move on. Let's just check in. I think everything else is going to get a pretty light treatment. In the women's division this week, we had a promo from Chris Statlander in which she said that unlike everyone else in the entire sport of wrestling, she's not a fucking whiner. Yeah. I thought that made a pleasant change of pace. I liked that.
Man, I love to hear that from someone. Everyone else could take a little lesson.
She said, what do you think I'm going to do? Complain about my place on the card? I said, well, if I had to guess. And then she said, no. Wow. Shocking.
Do you think that was like weirdly, like maybe a little bit shading Brit? Like I just thought like that whole like, promo was a little bit like, not like some people.
You know, perhaps, but also it could apply to so many people that it's like, go crazy. Speaking of Britt, she fought Serena Deeb on Dynamite, and that was normal, but not really anything. I don't think it was bad. I think it was confident.
Fine. It's always very, nowadays when I look up and it's 9:20 and we're having one women's match and it's a little bit dull, it's like, oh wow, what a throwback. Like I don't expect this anymore.
It's an interesting way to celebrate your 5-year anniversary is to like do a real throwback.
Remember this? Remember this format?
You spent 3 years watching this, didn't you?
Oh my
4
god.
4 years of Dynamite, 3 years for us. Yeah.
Mariah May was in the front row scouting the match. Britt made Serena Deeb tap out, but then Serena Deeb attacked her, and Queen Aminata ran out for the save. And then also on Dynamite, Renee interviewed Mariah backstage, and Mariah was accusing Willow of failing up and losing tons and tons of titles. And Willow showed up to yell at her, and they yelled at each other, and then they started fighting. And Christopher Daniels was hot on the scene. It really was like the vice principal just has a nose for it. He just always knows when people are fighting and they're not supposed to be. And so he broke it up. What should we start with here? I would love to actually start with when I misread Serena Deeb's like graphic that has a big flag on it, and it says Deeb's Dojo, and it's kind of like waving a little in the wind, and I misread it as DB Do, and I haven't stopped thinking that to myself.
I know
since last night.
You said that in our group chat, and someone said, DB do, where are you?
We've got some work to do now. DB do. I truly think that if Serena Deeb went so fucking rogue and was like, yes, my new gimmick is DB do, and I am Scooby. I'm Scooby-Doo's long-lost sister, and I have a mystery machine of my own. I would just be like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in on Serena Deeb now. She'll sell me a t-shirt that says DB Do on it. Yeah, I'm in. I love her. I always have.
What if she sends you a little video file saying thank you for buying DB Do?
I think I would. I know you can't frame a file, but what if you could?
You get a digital frame that can play videos.
And when people come over, you can be like, this is the video I've received from DB Do.
From my favorite wrestler, DB Do.
This is how we become big Serena heads.
I love it. It's not a joke, but it's so funny. It doesn't mean anything. Dee-dee-doo.
This is how we end up tricking ourselves into liking people.
Totally.
You know, we make up one stupid ass joke, and then it's like, oh, old Dee-doo. I always love her.
Well, it's true. You know, it's one of our better qualities, but and we're encouraging other people to do it a lot. But I think they may see the results in us and say, like, I shouldn't. My heart should stay closed. Look at the people that you've accepted into your heart. You know, the other day I thought, like, a little sadly, like, oh, I haven't seen Brian Cage recently.
We did accept Brian Cage into our heart.
I haven't even seen Brian Cage's big, monstrously bulky body in a while.
Remember when our friend Erin watched with us after 6 months of not watching with us, and we were like, MJF sucks ass and Brian Cage is our favorite, and she was like, what has gone on here?
And we did all kind of say it in unison, I think, like, oh, Brian Cage. I hope that Sammy's okay. Now I love Sammy, maybe. My little child, Sammy. My heart can be so open unless Leah tells it to be closed. And then lock it up.
No.
People in the audience hearing these things and yelling no, but we can't hear them.
You do not have to give it to them. Okay. I thought this was all good.
Yeah. I liked how with Mariah, like Renee was about to say that Mina had been in Japan teaming with Tony, but Mariah interrupted her to complain about Willow. So it's like, ooh, she might not know yet that happened. So I enjoy that.
Yes, I like that as well. I thought that was good timing.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for that to kick into gear because I feel like right now the women's division is a tiny bit like directionless. Like there's not like there's like good characters and good wrestling, but they're like nothing's really fully in gear right now. And so I'm like, something should though.
I was excited for Willow and Mariah to yell at each other because it was like they were bringing good energy, and I'd love to see them fight, and I'd love to see Willow get the title, and so we'll see what happens.
It was funny. I think they did a great job, and it felt like a really good, believable like backstage fight segment. But also for some reason, it was very funny to me when Willow was shouting, "Want a title shot?" I was like, I wouldn't be able to think of stuff to yell in this situation. Like God knows what I would say. All right, let's move on to Ospreay and Ricochet, who had a sit-down interview ahead of their Dynamite match on Collision. This was the most normal therapy we've ever seen men do on wrestling TV. Like, I was staggered by how much Will Ospreay, especially, his vibe was like, this is my husband. He has some really deep-seated emotional issues, but I love him, so I'm making him go to couples therapy. And I'm really trying to communicate to him what I think some of his problems are from a place of love and caring. So healthy.
It was a little distressing to see such healthy emotional relating on a wrestling television.
Right, like their vibe was very much that like if JR was a little bit more competent at his job, they wouldn't have needed to wrestle. They could have talked it out right there.
I was about to say, was it JR in this segment? Because I couldn't remember.
I think it was Renee.
I just assumed it was
okay.
JR.
See, if it had been JR, that would have kicked it up a notch, I think. No shade to Renee, of course.
There's something that JR does in those. I don't know how he gets the weirdness out of these men, but it's like he normals so hard, and then like there's something he does. But I thought it was quite funny. And crazy. And then they fought on Dynamite and they did a lot of flips, and then both their shoulders were on the mat at one point, so the ref counted them out, so it was a draw, and the crowd was really mad about that. But then Tony Khan called and said, no, they can keep fighting, let them fight on, which I liked. And so they did keep fighting, and then Takeshita, who was supposed to be at the airport because we saw him earlier leaving for the airport with Don Callis and a sad-looking Kyle Fletcher, he came back and he interrupted the match, and he beat them both up, and then he stole the belt. And now all three men are going to fight at the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any thoughts about any of that?
I had the funniest and most baffling emotional reaction to this, which is when it was the draw and then the keep fighting and then the interference. I was sitting there like, what the fuck? I was so cranky. I was like, this overbooked, shitty piece of nonsense. But then, as I'm having this emotional reaction, my brain is also thinking, like, so baffled, like, why are you mad about this? Like, you're never mad about this. You don't care about this. And it was like there was a demon in my body, and it was a man who's watched wrestling for 30 years, and I don't know what happened to me.
It's exactly like when I said, I'm so excited for a great build to a great match. This is what the every day, the demons of this community are trying to wriggle into our brains, take control of our bodies, and turn this into a very different podcast. And we resist. For us mostly, but for you as well.
People do not know how hard we're working to fight our demons.
Yeah.
You know, Reddit, Twitter, every Discord, they're all trying to assimilate us into their group opinions. We refuse to be assimilated, but
we're not a part of your system. Throw it on the ground. No, just really powerfully. And I think that definitely has something to do with Ospreay and Ricochet. They did have a lot of endings, and it was a bit silly, but I didn't really care because the demon hadn't gotten me on that day.
Look out.
I was
do some kind of ritual to cure me.
Yes.
We'll talk about it off there.
Yeah. That's our private business.
I was having weird, it was also a demon-y experience, but a different demon, where because I had listened to his unrestricted, I think it was Ospreay's Talk is Jericho episode, where he talked about this match and how when they did it as little kids, he was like, it kind of ruined our lives. It was good, it was the best thing that could have happened, but the reaction to that match really fucked me up. And so he was it seemed like there was so much riding on it that people were going to be really mean if it was bad and be like, oh, Ricochet's washed, and I was feel really bad. So I had this intense stage mom energy where I got up and kept pacing and being I hope everybody's having fun. And I don't want to be reading the discourse about Ricochet's aging body. I hope that everybody's doing good wrestling right now.
I hope they don't call my child washed.
This is so funny because Ospreay versus Ricochet is really the most I can't imagine any of us really having an emotional reaction to it just on paper, and yet here we are really
I was
reacting.
Kind of having my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not what they wanted to convey. I'm not sure that they were and then we'll make the audience so nervous that our feelings will get hurt by discourse.
I hope my fans really think of me as their little son who might blow it in the school play.
Totally. I'm totally obsessed with the idea of Ricochet being you know how famously sensitive wrestling fans are? They feel things deeply. They really worry for other people's happiness and success. That's what I want to play into.
They're so polite to one another because they're so concerned about other people's feelings.
They would never want a wrestler to fail. They would never want to see a wrestler fail. Oh my god! Well, I just can't stack up to the reactions that you two had. Although
can you find a third crazier reaction? Maybe somehow.
I truly wish I could. I didn't really process the match that much, but when I was looking at it and I said, this seems good. They seem like they can wrestle. Ricochet don't think he embarrassed himself. In my opinion,
no, I don't think
he did a really nice job.
I think that people were pretty decently nice. I think that people were well, of course they were they did the match they needed. You know that damning faint praise
Jesus
thing
Christ.
where they're they needed to put on a good match and they did what they needed to do. And you're okay, can you just say it was good?
That really we all thought they were bad, but they did meet the bare minimum of what they needed to do. So congrats to them.
It's not even just we all thought they were bad. When people say it, it's kind of well, we wanted them to be bad, but they were fine, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Unfortunately, it's Eric Beeston about the Young Bucks. Unfortunately, they didn't shit the bed. Once again, they failed to shit the bed. Oh, it was a banger match. Who could have thought? Moving on.
I really liked it though. I mean, I really did.
It was fun.
You know the thing with swordplay sometimes where like two people will be like fighting and like they keep anticipating each other so the shot nothing ever connects and then like that's exactly what this was. That like it was like two people with perfect telepathy like trying to have a fight. You know, like it was very interesting to watch it go down. Where it's like I don't like they literally. Like can't touch each other because they're both having the same
flipping.
Thought. Yeah, but like
there was a moment where they both did a flip, and it was just like I think I'm just watching this gymnastics or like synchronized swimming or something. Like, were you guys even trying to hit each other again? Because I'd been possessed by a man who likes real graps. I was like, this looks very silly.
This is
and
I didn't like
hearing
that. It was really
so
disgusting.
That scared me, mommy.
I didn't like it. I think after this episode ends, we should all drink holy water together.
Oh my God. Should we have an exorcism?
That would be so fun.
Maybe.
Oh my God. Okay. But seriously, stay safe out there. Okay. And then I think we just got 3 to 4 points that's really important for us to address here. Let's start with Kyle O'Reilly coming out for some conglomeration action in kind of a sexy t-shirt panties look.
Something about the t-shirt being long enough to cover some of his ass really did give like sweet,
Morning after
girlfriend being like, babe, will you make me coffee?
Yeah,
totally.
The t-shirt panties look is the sluttiest look a man can have, and this one really did take it up a notch with that length. Yeah, it
was weird, but it was sexy. Maybe I became a woman. It's hard to know. I'd also like to touch on, I don't know what I guess he just didn't wet it perhaps, but Big Bill was giving Harlequin cover.
Yeah, his hair was flowing. It was Fabio.
He had a woman in his arms, and he was dipping her, and she's wearing a period dress, and she's kind of swooning.
And the woman is Chris Jericho.
I'm not interested. I'm listening.
My heart is open, unless anyone yells no.
No.
I want so bad now for the lady who does the oil paintings for like Don Callis to draw me a painting of Big Bill dipping Chris Jericho who's in a period dress.
Oh my God.
If we get enough merch money, should we commission that?
Yeah.
Little motivation for everybody out there.
Yeah. Wow. I wish I could see that.
How much money do you think Mary would charge us to get her to draw a picture of Chris Jericho?
Oh boy.
Like it would,
I don't know if we could afford it.
Borderline think it would be like 6 figures.
What? But what if we could pitch it in just the right way? So she would say, like, actually, that is so fun. I would love to do it. We're just blue skying here.
The blue sky is. But what if we pitched it real good, though?
She loves.
I mean, what if we did?
To be honest, I've heard worse blue sky ideas in brainstorming sessions.
She does love drawing wrestlers as women, so we just really pitch Chris Jericho.
Align with interests, and then say like, don't you want Big Bill to be happy? Like this is who makes him happy. You know, it's like something like that.
Big Bill to be happy.
I don't know. I thought we all did.
I mean, I do, certainly.
I guess I just assumed we all did.
It just occurred to me I don't really know Mary's position on Mary, let us know.
We'll reach out about that. I would say the final thing, Chris Jericho is going to fight Mark Briscoe for Mark's Ring of Honor title. We did get a little classic, wrestlers dealing with grief differently than we understand. But we know now that that's how it works.
Yeah. I know. It's like
gotten educated.
That Jay like quip, it's like we've been in wrestling long enough that like we know that he didn't say it without Mark's permission, but I still was so fucking scandalized that
I know.
You say that? now.
Right to his face? So
Right
mean.
to his face. I think there's something so funny about like the journey that we've gone on as viewers from like just having that response of like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, so that's just what he said. To like now, I have that initial response, and then I'm like, I do think it's quite sweet when you think about the fact that this is clearly how they all process things, and you know that like Mark Briscoe is probably like, you can bring up my dead brother, and that would honor him, and he would really like it, and then they do it, and then they fight about it. It's so foreign, but so fascinating and lovely in its own way.
Girls,
but strange.
If I ever die and you guys have to continue this podcast without me.
Have to.
Who's making us?
I don't want you to make jokes. I think that like every time I come up, you should be like,
well, we're going to make jokes.
I don't think we're going to continue the podcast.
No, we're definitely not.
No, about me. I want you guys to be like, oh, like Leah's dead and that's so sad. Like, don't use
you want
me
us
for
to say it in
promos.
that tone, you think?
Yeah.
Oh, guys. Hey, guys. Just a little update. Leah's dead and it's so sad.
Podcast business right up front. So Leah died.
So sad. Oh, boo-hoo. We're all crying. I'm so obsessed with if I ever die and you guys have to keep making
I like don't even like this line of questioning. I'm like somebody knock wood, like go outside, turn around, spit.
Oh my God. Don't die, please. Don't die.
You're actually not allowed to die. The same people who would make us continue the podcast
hey guys,
forbid it.
Pinky promise. No dying. No dying. Okay, we did it. You can't see it, but we did it. Was there anything you really wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about?
We didn't get to the equity stakes of the year after year.
I mean, I landed on that right away. I was like, wow, WB has equity. This is
well, there was a specific phrase for the like equity. I wish I could remember what it was, but I felt so ashamed as I had to slink away from my community to Google it. Like, what is corporate equity? Why does it matter if you have corporate equity?
Every day we say, I'm not going to learn anything. And unfortunately, our community forces us to learn.
The amount of things that I've learned about the demo, about how many million a year is a good deal for a wrestling company.
Maybe corporate equity will be a useful term for me to use when I become a corporate billionaire myself.
Yeah, when you're on that CEO track, so.
Certainly I am.
Our gas station company?
Yeah, that's true. We're going to have our 3-girl CEO office.
3-girl CEO.
Some of the wrestlers might want equity in our Pumps for Us, and...
Well, I didn't do enough research to know if they should get it. Frankly, I actually am not sure if they should get equity.
Do you think we should make any of them EVPs, or is that too risky?
I would call that a ceremonial title that we could hand out to most of them, to be honest.
That's nice.
I would say most of them can have that title.
Yeah. It's called workers' rights, yeah.
I would love it if we handed it out for good behavior and like a wrestler got really excited and was like, guys, I'm an EVP now. And it's like, yeah, we're all EVPs.
And if they do bad behavior, they get demoted to director, you know?
Oh my God.
Shame.
Director, wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I think everyone's really gonna like the way we run things. Yeah. And we will research equity. When we need to. when it becomes relevant,
when we get our billions and we start our gas station.
Certainly research it a little more deeply than just a light Google to try and keep up with the deal chatter. Okay, well, I think that simply must be all. I've been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
And this is Tunnel Talk. Our theme is by Chris Corkin. You can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Twitch at Tunnel Talk Pod. via email, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. You can find our merch at choptees.com. You can find us on the Social Suplex Network feed, along with a ton of other great podcasts that also have merch. So if you listen to other Social Suplex Network shows, go check out their very cool merch as well. You can find us on the Social Suplex Network Discord. You can probably find us other places if I had to guess. You can not find us if you don't want to find us. And I would implore you to work soft. And I'm just kidding. I think it would be preferable if you would simply stay frosty and do the other thing that I probably usually tell you to do, which is probably to come back next week.